Hello and welcome back to the gay side of the internet. Today I'm joined with
James.
And we are answering all of your burning relationship and dating questions.
My name's Leah, by the way, and we're related.
I feel like sometimes we might need to clarify that.
Yeah, if you haven't been around
True.
for a while, we always introduce me as James as a joke.
Anyway, this is my sister, and my sister gives excellent advice. I hope we answer your question very well. No refunds!
No refunds. This video is a part of the 12 Gays of Christmas.
Woo!
Do you have a playlist?
I do have a playlist. I can make a card fly across the screen right now so you can go and look at the playlist to catch up on any videos that you've missed. Or I'll just put it in the description below. Either way, you'll find it.
If you want more advice like this video, you get to the end of it and you're like, oh my god, I want more. We did a very similar video last year, so
yes,
check
that's
that
why
out.
we're doing it again. Because you loved it. You asked for this, let's go.
This is your fault! Do you have any advice for asking someone out while being terrified of rejection? As somebody who has a lot of anxiety and a fear of rejection in general, it's hard to say because like everyone will give you the advice of like you just gotta do it. Because you do. And
that's the hardest thing to hear sometimes is that you just have to
so,
take that action.
Yeah, it's probably so annoying to be like, oh, well I'm scared.
But this,
it's
but
like,
that.
yes, we all are scared.
You can be scared, but you can do this thing at the same time. You can be both.
Yeah. Would you rather live out the rest of your life avoiding doing things and just staying inside your little comfort zone and not growing as a person and being really boring because that's what happens to people who don't broaden their horizons, or would you rather get out there, do the thing, say the thing, and just know
live
what
your life
happens?
that you tried.
Like, if the person is interested, fantastic. If the person's not interested, fantastic. And you just move on to the next part of your life.
If you don't try, you won't know.
There's plenty of times where you're going to be rejected in your life, whether it's relationships, whether it's going for jobs and careers. You need to get more comfortable with the idea of being rejected. Not because you weren't suitable or you're not a good person,
enough.
You're not good enough. It's just the situation wasn't right. And you'll see that in time. Once you've grown a couple of years, you'll look back on it and you'll go, oh, well, that wasn't as big of a deal that I thought it was.
Yeah. Advice for when your new girlfriend doesn't answer your text or takes hours to answer. Also, advice on when you know it's time to break up.
It's hard to know exactly what advice to give when there's no age bracket.
Yes, because I think my answer for someone who's, I don't know, 14 or 15
Younger.
versus someone who's 25 is a little bit different. But let's just try and do both scenarios. Someone who is younger.
Someone who's younger. If you're in school and it's during school hours, probably shouldn't be too crazy about being on your phone. Yes, this is your mother speaking.
Mum hat on. Guys, you're supposed to be listening in class. Teachers already get enough shit. Just be a good kid and listen. Anyway, so if you're in school, that's okay if they're taking a while to reply. We can understand that. If you're someone who's 25 or, older, has a life, they might be working. They might be busy with their family. There are reasons why someone might take a long time to reply, and you just have to sort of acknowledge that. Doesn't mean you can't ask about it though. Like, hey, just wondering, is everything okay? Or like, you took a little while to reply. Don't ever expect someone to reply in like 5-10 minutes. Like that.
I hate that.
That expectation at any age is unrealistic. But if we're talking like, you're saying hours, then yeah, they might just be busy, or they might be doing the thing of like trying to space the conversation because
they don't want to seem desperate. I know a lot, like when I was younger, it was a big thing to like not answer your crush's message straight away because you look desperate.
So if they are your girlfriend, you can ask them about it. You can sit down, you can talk with them about it. Don't phrase it in a way that makes them feel like they're in trouble for not responding, but they might give you a legitimate answer.
People's texting styles are different as well. Some people sit on their phone and they have the whole conversation while they're there, and then they say, okay, right, I've got to go do this now, and then they
they'll stop replying
they'll
when
stop
they're busy.
replying. So you just kind of have to gauge what their texting style is like. If it's changed, like when you weren't dating and you were talking to each other,
And now you are dating.
and now you are, and it's like kind of changed, maybe there's something going on that you need to investigate with them by talking to them and asking them. But if that's how it's been the whole time, I wouldn't really be too concerned.
And for the second part of the question, how do you know when it's time to break up? Personally, I think if this is occupying space in your brain, you're thinking about it quite often. If this is taking up space, then it is a good indication that that might be the thing that you need to do. If you're not happy anymore, it's time to break up. If you feel like majority of your interactions are negative, let's say 6 out of 10 of your interactions are negative, then that's not healthy. It might be time to move on. If majority of your interactions are happy and 2 out of 10 times are bad, then that's fine.
If you're constantly thinking about, oh, should I break up with this person?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you probably should.
probably. My girlfriend just told me she's ace or possibly demisexual. I don't want to make it awkward for her, but I really want to talk more with her about this to make sure I'm not making her feel uncomfortable or unsafe. For context, we're both 14 and have been dating for about a year. If she's approached you and said, hey, I think I might be this, and then said nothing else, I feel like that would be an invitation for you to ask more questions.
What I think you should do is have that conversation, but when you have the conversation, don't ask, hey, what are you comfortable with? I would put it as let's write a list for each of us. What are some things we're comfortable with? Like, you write one for you, she writes one for her. We're both comfortable doing these things. And then have things that you're like, I'm open to trying these things. And then a list of, I definitely know that I don't want to do these things. And then you can see which ones you sort of match up with, or which ones that you're willing to try. I know you're both 14, so you're not up to, doing anything more yet, and that's fine. But let's say you keep dating for 2 years, or if someone watching is, 17, 18, 21, whatever, matching those things up means you have the option to try some things, but you also know, like, okay, we're not going to touch this in our relationship.
Set the boundaries,
nobody's interested in that.
basically.
And yeah, when you have that conversation, just say, hey, like, I want to do this because I want to make sure you're not uncomfortable and I want you to feel safe. And I'm sure that she will understand that and appreciate it. It's a very mature thing to do as a 14-year-old, I think.
This whole comment is, for 14 years old, I find is quite mature. So
Yeah, it's nice that you're thinking that way about your partners.
if you want some of this sweet ass merch, make sure you click the top link in the description. I am asserting that you will put it as the first.
It will be. No, it will be.
Look, how cool is this? Oh my god, so cool, so comfy.
You only have 2 more days left to get the Sappho long sleeve if you are interested.
This is actually very soft.
It is soft.
It's not the thinnest thing in the world, so it's like a good quality.
And I like
I'm
how
somebody
fluid
who-
that is.
I'm somebody who likes big stuff, and I personally think that if you're worried about it being too small, just get a big size.
Make
It's
sure you
hot
check
in
out the
here,
link down below for merch, and let's keep going. Hi Lauren and Sis. For context, I'm a 27-year-old female. I've questioned my sexuality from a very young age and am really leaning towards identifying more as a lesbian and not bisexual. I've never dated another woman, and the idea of dating a man is so uninteresting to me that I've been very single for several years. Do you have any advice on my quest to begin dating women? I would never want the other person to feel uncomfortable or unsure of a relationship with me because I'm not 100% sure of my sexuality. More like 95%. Thank you.
My advice would be just to make sure that when you do get to a point where you're talking to someone and you kind of want to start dating, just make sure that person knows that you're not 100% sure of your sexuality, just communicating where you're at so that they know what to expect going into anything.
Because we're around the same age, if my friend is asking me this, my best advice for the dating situation is make the move, because we just don't make the moves, and someone who makes the move is great. Sexy, love that. It depends on how you're finding someone, but like Tinder, for example, you can write what you're after. If you're like, I'm looking for a long-term relationship, or I'm looking to wife someone up, or I'm looking for fun, definitely put that in your bio. But then when you meet and you go out and you're on your dates and stuff, usually topics like, what's your coming out story, are things that come up. You just naturally share them. And when it's your turn to share yours, I'm sure you're going to say something like this: I haven't dated men for a while. I used to. Now I'm pretty sure I like women. And you can say it as casually as that. So now they're aware that this is a new thing for you. Just communicating
it's
that.
okay to not know. For most of my life, I've always been like, oh yeah, I'm straight, I like dudes. But in recent years, I'm like, well, I don't know. I find anyone sexually
could be attractive
like, gender isn't really a thing that determines whether I find someone sexually attractive or not, which I believe is pansexual.
Yes.
It's funny that I don't even know my own label because I just don't
care.
care. And part of me is like, well, I can't be sure that I am interested in people other than men because I've never been with anyone other than men. But you don't have to do that to know. You just kind of...
Sometimes you know, sometimes you don't.
You just go, well, yeah, that's what I think. And if you never figure it out, you never figure it out. Yeah.
But if you end up in a situation where someone cares about you not 100% knowing, then they're just not for you.
They're just an asshole.
As long as
they're an asshole if they're trying to force you to figure it out.
I imagine if I was
Maybe
going on
younger
if I went on a date with someone who is a girl who is my age and is like, I used to date men for ages, I haven't. I'm pretty sure I like women. I'd be like, that's fine. It's cool. Like it's not gonna bother me personally. I don't care. You're obviously here, and if we click, and if it goes further than that, then it's fine. Like that's
yeah. As a 17-year-old trans guy in a man-love-man relationship, I want to ask how to actually get people to know you're in a queer relationship and not straight.
I can imagine this being hard because people aren't perceiving you the way that you want to be perceived, and I think in certain situations, there's only so much that we can do to try and like send social cues that you are a guy, not a girl. So whether that's doing your hair, what you wear, the way you act, all of these subtle cues that we can do to show people that we are a guy or whatever. You know, there's a limit to what you can do and how much effort you can put in. You can't always control how someone is going to perceive you, and I know that sucks, but you also have the opportunity to then, if someone doesn't perceive you right, you can educate them or say, hey, no, like, we're boyfriends or whatever. Like, you have that option to say something about it, to let them know. You can also ask your boyfriend to stand up for you as well and say something if someone does not perceive your relationship as queer. Having someone who's in solidarity with you or is your rock who can do that is helpful. People don't always see me as gay. And as annoying as that is, that's just how it is. There's only so much that I can do. I don't take it to heart if someone doesn't realise or understand that I am gay. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
And in time, people will stop assuming things. I'm talking like over the space of our lifetime, hopefully, people will stop assuming otherwise.
Well, it's in our nature as human beings, like our chemical makeup, our biology. We just, without even realising it, we have assumptions when we see things and see people. Like, it's unavoidable.
Short answer, do what you can to control the situation, but also speak up about it when they get it wrong. I want to ask some advice for my first ever lesbian breakup and breakup in general. We've been friends for 6 years, classic friends to lovers. She asked me to be her girlfriend. The relationship felt so perfect. I've never felt as home as I have in her presence. And I thought we were only growing closer as she would say things like, I can't wait to grow old together, and you're my soulmate, and I'm so glad we found each other so early in life, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. Days before breaking up with me. And then the day after our anniversary, she broke up with me over text saying that she isn't ready to be in a relationship and that she needs to prioritize her mental health, and said it wasn't me. This is a lot in one message.
Yeah, it's quite a lot to unpack there. I feel like Lauren has the most experience with this.
You're passing the buck to me.
Yeah.
Okay, no. I feel like this question is me at, how old was I? Like 21, asking my future self. I just didn't see it coming and it hurt. So I can understand how hard this is. The best advice I can give you is, with time, you will realize reasons why it wasn't the best relationship. And that is really hard to see in the moment. There is a reason why you guys broke up, and that is because she doesn't feel the exact same way that you do, and that is not your fault. If she isn't ready to be in a relationship, she isn't ready, and you can't change that. It's not on you, it's on her. Someone who wants to prioritize their mental health, I get it, I understand. You've got to let them go and do that. You can't fault them for that, really.
You can't force them to stay around. Like, no, it's not really fair. If that's what they've decided that is best for them, and if you really care about them, you would let them do what they think is best for them. Even if you don't agree with it, yeah, it's their life. If they want to prioritize their mental health and do it outside of a relationship, that's fine. If I was in that situation, I would probably want to focus, like if it was really bad mentally, I would want to focus on it outside of a relationship, because sometimes all the energy you have has to go into yourself.
Because let's be real, a relationship, focusing on a relationship or being in a relationship, it is work. It's not effortless, especially if you're at more closer to the start.
That's complete crap. If anyone ever tells you it's
that's
like,
what I mean. Like,
oh, being in this relationship, it's just so natural and so easy. It's like, yeah, if it feels natural and easy, but there's never nothing to do. Like, you've always, there's always work to put in.
At the end of the day, I'm really sorry that this happened. It's shit. Like, I can completely understand how shit it is to hear these things that make you feel so secure and then everything shatters. The best way for you to move on, I guess, is to try and move on. Getting out there, talking to other people, distracting yourself, seeing your friends, picking up new hobbies, all of these things you can do to allow your mind to wander to other places. If it means not talking to her for a while, that's something you might have to consider as well. Just because I feel like I'm telling my younger self this, like, yeah, you're allowed to block them, even though if it's not forever, but just like stop talking to them, stop seeing them to help you move on from this. That's okay.
Space and time.
Ooh, that was such a big
one. Palkia and Dialga, space and time. Give this video a like if you like Pokemon like us.
All my past relationships have been toxic, and I'm starting to think I'm the problem. Any advice?
I'm not sure how old you are, but if it is possible, you should probably consider going to some form of therapy. That always helps.
And you don't have to be depressed or have anxiety or whatever to see a therapist. I just want to add that in there, because a lot of people think that you have to be really bad to go. No, if you're working through a problem, you're allowed to go. If you want help with this, you're definitely allowed to go.
Any kind of problem that has to do with your mental status is great.
Yes, you can't go to therapy for accounting problems. It's good that you have the maybe awareness that you might be the problem if you spend time to really dig into that to see, was it you in those relationships, or was it the other person, or was it a bit of both? Once you have that self-awareness, I think then you can go further to fix it.
You've already taken the hardest step, which is becoming self-aware.
Is considering that it could be you. You're not a bad person, by the way. Some people just, there are reasons why you do the things that you do, and you have the ability, whether that's therapy or not, to choose to work on yourself. You're not worthy of a relationship. I just want to say that, because I feel like from this question, like, I don't want you to feel bad saying you're the problem, because yeah, you might be, but you can change that.
It's not a bad thing. You have the power to correct any toxic behaviours.
And you mentioned a thing before when we were talking before this video. When you entered a relationship, you asked the person to take it really slow with you, and I think that might, if you were to do the same thing for your future relationships, I think that would help realize what's going on and sort of stop you from doing anything that could possibly be toxic.
Definitely slowing the pace and not like jumping the gun into anything will give you a bit more time to identify if you are doing something that would be considered toxic. Online dating for someone completely inexperienced. I don't have a clue, but I think I'm open to it for the first time in my life. I have very little in-person dating experience too. I'm 22.
That is the exact age that I downloaded Tinder for the first time. What I found through that experience was you'll match with a lot of girls and no one will send any messages. So expect that to happen and don't be bummed out when they don't say anything. It's up to you, like I said earlier, to take the first move. You send the first message, you get the conversation going, and then once you get a feel for the person, ask them out on a date straight away. Like, I hate texting for ages and ages and ages. Like, I want to meet you and I want to know.
That's so funny.
Does it work?
Because I'm the complete
Really?
opposite.
You want to talk to them for like
when,
weeks and weeks.
Yes, when I was on Tinder and I was talking to dudes when
it
I
might
thought
be
I was
different
straight,
because they're guys.
it could be different.
With girls, I'm like, okay, you're a real person. Like, you kind of have a few things in common. Let's go on a date.
It's a typical thing, right? That girls move fast.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a stereotype.
Yes, it is.
I want to know whether this person can hold a conversation for weeks before I even bother wasting my time going on a date.
I wouldn't worry about not having much in-person dating experience. Like, if you find someone who you're happy to go on a date with, well then check. Now you have one dating experience. Like, the first experience you go on, don't let it define the rest of your experiences. Like, they will all be different. Like, I went on a couple of dates with a couple of different people. They were all different. They were all lovely. I never had a bad experience. Give it a go. Use common sense. Be safe. Meet somewhere public.
Tell somebody that you're going.
And you'll be fine. And it's fun. It is fun.
Listen to your gut as well. That's extremely important when you go to meet these people. It's different. You've got to recognise the difference between general anxiety of a situation and feeling like something is off.
Yes.
And if you feel like it's off, just trust that feeling.
Oh my god, I just got a text from my mum. She has to take the dog to the vet and I have to go babysit my brother. Alright, I'm so sorry. Yeah,
sorry, you gotta go.
Bye!
Got a blast.
How do you make a relationship work long term? I'm in my first adult, we're both 20, long-term relationship for about a year, and wondering how to best allow this relationship to grow with us. I like this question.
Communication. The biggest piece of advice I give anyone on any kind of relationship is communication. It is the thing that will make or break a relationship 9 times out of 10. There's a stark difference between all of my previous relationships and my current one. Yeah. And the thing that stands out the most is the communication that we have with each other. It's just so important to constantly be talking about how you're feeling and feel safe expressing your feelings when there's something that your partner does that upsets you or makes you nervous or you don't like. It's important to just bring it up and see what they do with it.
Yeah.
If they're a good communicator, they'll explain why they do something.
And it does take practice. If I'm comparing this relationship to my last relationship, this one, at the start, and even now sometimes, it's still hard to be like, come on, man, like, you just got to bring this up. I know you don't want to talk about it, and I know it sucks. Just do it. And I've done that a lot in this one, and I think that's why it's better. It's because we are both talking about things. We're not afraid. Or we are afraid, but we do it anyway.
The more that you talk about things, the more comfortable you'll get as you go on. If the person responds positively, it builds up that trust of you feeling comfortable being able to talk about anything.
Because you're both 20 and you've been together for a year, at this point in your lifetime would be a good chance or a good opportunity to start talking about where you both see the relationship going, because you are slightly younger. Have conversations like, do you both want kids? What kind of house do you want to live in? Where do you want to live? Where do you see your career going? You don't have to ask all of this in one session. You know,
don't start grilling them.
No, like, pick one thing and talk about it with them one week, and then the next week sort of talk about something else, just to get a feel of where each other are going, because you are younger. Sometimes at that age, people start figuring out what they want and what they don't want, and you might not be together forever. You might want different things, but you won't know that unless you talk about it. And if you do want the same things, well then great. It will be a long-term relationship, hopefully.
Is it ever okay to date a co-worker? I've always been really confident and have never been shy to talk to or ask out girls. That's why it's extremely hard to hold my tongue in this situation. We're both the same age, both single, in similar stages in our life. We have really good chemistry, have a fair few things in common, and she's extremely pretty. I just want to be like, yo, there's a really good frozen yogurt place in the city, way too hot these days. Want to go after work? Or like, hey, have you ever been ice skating? It's so good to go when it's hot like this. Would you be interested?
Firstly, I love the lines. Like,
yo,
would you like to, yeah, because that's something I would,
that's me.
Yeah, it is.
Yo, you want to go get some fucking ice cream?
So the question is it ever okay to date a coworker? And I think it depends on the situation. It's hard because I don't know everything about your story, but in this situation, I'm assuming you're around my age or older, and depending on the workplace too. If
Yeah,
it would make things really awkward or complex in the workplace, if you think in the workplace your boss or your supervisor would be really against it, then avoid it. Just don't go there if it's putting anyone's jobs at risk or taking you away from focusing on the job. But if you work in an office together or something more casual, or you're a retail shop assistant, I don't know, where it doesn't really matter, then I would say in this situation, shoot your shot. The only thing I would add is make sure that your delivery of these lines is clear that it is a date. Like, it is a romantic interest. So they're not like, let's bring James. James will come too. And if they do say something like that, then you know that they were never considering you in a romantic sense anyway.
Yeah.
They're not into it, and that's okay. I'm sure you're mature enough to move on from a really light rejection. But yeah, just be clear that it is, want to go after work with me, or just us two, or like a date if you feel like you have the confidence to do that.
It sounds like you do.
But I wish you the best. I hope it works out.
I know, it's like one of the most controversial things to ask. Is it okay to date someone you work with? And it's such a hard thing to answer because everyone's situation is totally different. And in some contexts, it doesn't matter. And in some, it really does. It's a 50-50, man. I know for me, I met my current partner where I worked. So
you both don't work there anymore. But
we don't work there anymore, but we weren't officially dating when we were working there, but we were like seeing each other. So yeah.
But it didn't impact
the way that we performed our jobs. So.
And I think you both would have been mature enough to like not show people at work, but like it didn't change the way you worked.
We were still very professional in our jobs. We
word.
weren't like public display of affection, no go.
Oh God, please, no. Yeah, let's add that in. In fact, if you ever start dating, please don't do it in the workplace. It's just weird.
Yeah.
How do you get over a breakup after a long time together? She was my first love, and it feels like I lost a best friend as well as a lover because she was the closest person to me. I am in high school. I've accepted that it's over, but it feels like my whole world has changed and I can't listen to MCR songs anymore without getting sad. Is it gay to love MCR? Because we really did. No, it's not gay. It's just everyone loves MCR, so there's a higher chance of people being gay.
With the whole song thing, there's like a couple of songs that always remind me of a particular ex. And yeah, it's hard to listen to it without thinking about it, but you just avoid it.
For a long time? Don't listen to it for a year,
and
then the next year, like this exact thing happened with me. Like, it wasn't MCR, I think it was 21 Pilots. And I loved 21 Pilots, right? And I still do, but there was a good 12 months where I was like, I can't listen to this because it upsets me. And you know what? Now I listen to everything all the time again. And there will be that time where it comes around where you just need to have a break from it. And then you get to rewrite the memories later. Now back to the original main point of the question. How do you get over a breakup being together for a long time? Feels like you've lost a best friend. This happened to me.
This is my exact situation.
This is because we were friends for ages and I lost a best friend and the lover at the same time, and it hurt. And it was hard, but the way that I got over it was space and time. Time is such an annoying answer because it's something you can't really control. It just happens. But time will heal. And like I said with the other similar question, keeping yourself busy, whether that's new hobbies, seeing other friends, but also maybe it's even trying dating other people just to... Someone is in high school,
like
so maybe not for this one. But like, I'm not saying a rebound. I'm just saying when I broke up with my ex and I was ready to start dating or start going on dates, that gave me something else to focus on instead of just always thinking that she was the only one. I would only ever be with her. It was like, you know what? There are other people that can be interesting out there.
Yeah. How many gazillion people exist on this planet?
There's many.
Plenty of fish in the sea, as they say.
At least you have accepted that it's over. That is a great first step, so be proud of that. I know your whole world is falling to bits, but in time it will fix itself.
Do you have advice for if you have a crush on your best friend, both of you are teenagers, told them you like them, but they don't know their sexuality and therefore aren't really sure if they like you?
Again, this happened to me when I eventually told my best friend that I liked her, or maybe she asked if I did, because I was a pussy. She said she wasn't sure if she felt the same way, and I think at that time she wasn't sure of her sexuality either. And what I had to do was just give her space and time to figure herself out. And in the end, we did end up dating, but that is after, I don't know, 6 months of just letting her figure it out.
You can't force somebody to like you, and you can't force them to figure it out. You just have to be patient and respect that that person isn't sure.
You would rather be in a relationship with someone who you know 100% likes you than who is like, oh, I don't know. You just have to allow them to get to that point. Whether that is they actually get to that point or they're like, nah, I like this boy now. Because that very well might happen. But to end that one on a high note, you did the thing. You told them that you liked them, and that is extremely hard to do, so well done. Last question. Do you have any advice for high schoolers, specifically 18-year-olds, on how to get into a relationship? I've never been with anyone. I've only almost gotten into one, and I need help, please.
Biggest advice is relationships and love is like a fart. If you force it, it's probably gonna be shit.
What the hell? When I was 18, people start going to parties and stuff. You start having a social life outside of high school, which is really nice, and that's your chance to participate in that. Meet other people, maybe blur some lines with your friends or...
Lol. You're so young, man. You are so damn young, and you have so much time ahead of you to
For it to happen. It will happen naturally.
I feel a lot of people who get to like their 20s and they haven't dated anyone yet feel really insecure about that. Everyone's on their own different timeline, and if you're not ready, you're not ready. People are ready at different stages of
Some
their
of my
life.
friends were dating boys at 15, and then there was me who went on my first date at 20 or whatever I was.
I didn't kiss a boy until I was 17. So...
I was 20 something and it wasn't even a boy. But like, yeah, that's a good point. Everyone's on their different life paths. Maybe you aren't ready for a relationship. Maybe you are, but it will happen if you want it to happen.
Give it a little bit of time and make sure that you put yourself out there and meet lots of different people.
Yes.
And
never
put
just
the
do
vibes,
something
put the
for
vibes
experience.
out there that you are looking for a relationship.
And then it will come your way.
Drop hints with people that you think are cute and pretty, and if one of them catches on, then just go with it.
Yay! That's all the questions that we have space for.
That we have time, because this recording is now over an hour long.
Yeah, so I'm really sorry if I didn't get to your question, but I hope for the questions that I didn't answer, you found them valuable. Thank you for adding your helpful advice. Let me know if you want to see more of this, especially with Leah or James. If this is something you want to see, maybe we can do another one next year.
You gotta let us know in the comments though.
If you don't, tell me. I don't know. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in 2 days' time. Also, you can go and watch our last advice video that we mentioned.
Moving over for it. This video right here, full of incredible advice. 100% recommend.
Don't forget to check out merch. Okay, bye!